Finally, if you are heading to the Spanish costas or the French Riviera this summer, you may be surprised to learn that the Mediterranean Sea has become one of the most polluted seas in the world. An estimated 730 tonnes of plastic waste are every day finding their way into the waters. Today, the 20th of May, Europe celebrates Maritime Day, a chance to raise awareness of the seas and their importance. And at a conference in Ravenna in Italy, EU officials will be outlining their plans to restore the health of the region's seas by 2030. Let's speak to the environmental scientist, Dr. Deborah Brosnan, who is actually in the Caribbean at the moment. I hope with work or maybe holiday, who knows, maybe a little bit of both. Let's talk about what's going on here in the Mediterranean. How bad does the pollution in the Mediterranean compare to, let's say, where you are in the Caribbean?
So the pollution in the Mediterranean is far worse than in the Caribbean, in part because you have 22 nations bordering a very small enclosed sea. And those nations vary greatly in their ability to manage their runoff, their pollution. But probably one of the largest impacts we're worried about is plastic. The plastic pollution into the Mediterranean, as you pointed out, is horrendous.
OK, let's break this down. You say 22 nations surrounding the Med. But the thing is, of course, pollution knows no geopolitical boundaries. It doesn't respect national borders. So whose responsibility is it to take action on places like the Mediterranean Sea, to fund the cleanup operations and also raise awareness of these issues too?
And that is the main question. If you look at what the EU is doing, so we have 12 EU nations in the Mediterranean, and the environmental directive that's just coming out to codify the polluter pays is wonderful, except that, as you point out, plastic is coming from all sources, a lot of it consumer-driven, into the Mediterranean. So it's very difficult to enforce the polluter pays in the Mediterranean. So it's going to be very difficult to enforce this directive because of the discrepancy among nations. So I think what we will have to look at is really either a public-private partnership to start cleaning up the oceans, as well as raising awareness of what we as consumers can do to stop polluting our seas.
Now, we've just been looking at some pictures of what looks like sort of rubbish out in the sea. So does that suggest that the vast majority of the pollution is localized, i.e. it's coming straight off the land? Or are we seeing pollution being driven across by tidal waves and by currents, and so it's actually coming from other parts of the world?
A combination. In the Mediterranean, because it's such an enclosed sea, a lot of it is coming from land. About 80% of the plastic and the trash is coming from land, but it is being driven across the Mediterranean by tides and currents and winds. So it's not one river polluting one small area, it is covering the entire Mediterranean. All
right, Deborah, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there for the moment. Thank you so much for your contribution, Dr. Deborah Brosnan there. Your headlines coming up very soon. Bye-bye.